Can you believe it? Texas opens at Ohio State in 2 months. It's not too early to look into that game. At the most, it could be a preview for the upcoming national championship. At worst, it'll just set the tone for the rest of the college football season. Let's talk about it. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked on Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked on Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button down below. That way you'll never miss a single episode. We're making a push to 20,000 before the start of the season. And share, like, and follow. Won't miss a single episode of Locked on Big Ten. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Longhorns and Buckeyes setting the tone for 2025. Urban Meyer has some thoughts on that too, by the way. Recruiting. We got all that, plus the NBA draft full of Big Ten players and odds of a Big Ten team winning a natty in hoops for the first time in a quarter century on our pick segment. All that coming up. But there is no bigger week one college football matchup than Texas at Ohio State. When the official rankings come out for the preseason, I'm sure this will be a top 5 matchup. Might even be a top 2 matchup, 1 versus 2. And like I said, this might even be a preview for the national championship in January. We'll bookend the season with this matchup, first and last. We'll see. You can't wait for it. It's going to be great. And the next 2 months are going to fly right by. We'll be into this game soon enough. This game means a lot as an individual game. It means a lot for recruiting. It means a lot for these coaches and their quarterbacks. It means a lot as a rematch and bragging rights. Which means it means a lot for the Big Ten, and it means a lot for the playoffs at the end of the year. So let's start by looking at this as an individual game. You know, coaches are usually a little nervous going into the first game of the season because they haven't seen their guys outside of practice. You know, this is live action for the first time. And you hope that everything that you've worked on in the previous weeks all comes together. You certainly don't want to get embarrassed by looking rusty or maybe disorganized. And especially, you don't want to look bad in front of your own home crowd or in front of a national TV audience. All this applies for Ryan Day and Ohio State. And, you know, that's why most teams like to open up with a nice little soft cupcake non-conference game. You know, work out the rust a little bit, get things figured out, and then start playing tougher competition as the season gets going. But no such luxury for Texas or Ohio State here. Now, the plus side of it, going against a ranked opponent like this right out of the box, is that you definitely know where you stand when you come out of a game like this, win or lose, and you'll know what you need to work on. And this here applies for both Texas and Ohio State. This game will also set the tone for the Big Ten versus the SEC argument, and it may have implications all season long when it comes eventually to deciding, is the Big Ten or the SEC going to get more teams into the playoffs? This game, they'll look at this game, they'll circle this game. Hey, head-to-head play between the two powerhouses of these two conferences. And by the way, this podcast always suggests that Big Ten's better than SEC anyway. We can stop the argument right now. But and I need to remind the SEC people that the Big Ten has won the last 2 national championships, but we'll get back to that later. This game also sets the tone moving forward because it's also a rematch of the playoff game from last year. These two teams, well, for Texas, it was the last game they played. It'll be the first game they play here. Obviously, Ohio State beat them and then moved on, played more games and won a national championship. But we will have some fond memories and play some highlights, I'm sure, of Jack Sawyer, the strip sack, fumble, and return touchdown. It was glorious for the Buckeyes anyway. And if the Buckeyes win this game, it's going to set the tone by asserting that they are, in fact, superior to a Texas team that made the playoffs 2 years in a row, but they don't have a title to show for it. If Texas wins, kind of evens up the score a little bit. Plus, They'll know that they went into Michigan and won easily last year, and then they'll be able to say they went into Ohio State and won this year. So that'd be 2 wins, one at the Shoe and one at the Big House within 12 months. I don't know if that's ever been done before by any powerhouse. That certainly looks good when you're out there recruiting. So this game has recruiting implications. Texas, Ohio State, and Michigan, for that matter, they all seem to recruit the same types of players or even literally the same players. So reminding a 17-year-old of who actually won this game against the other opponent will help out on the recruiting trail. Again, a lot of implications for this football game. And this game also sets the tone for quarterbacks, both of them. This is a big storyline in this football game. Arch Manning has been the best, or at least the most hyped backup quarterback in college football for 2 years in a row. Been sitting behind Quinn Ewers all this time. He finally gets his chance to shine in front of the entire country on the national stage. A lot of people are going to be tuning in this game to see the next Manning generation quarterback on the big stage. And what can he do? We've seen bits and pieces here and there, but this is his show this year. Meanwhile, Julian Sayin, he's been waiting in the wings for over a year now at Ohio State. We've all heard he's a former 5-star, and he's ready to show if he's worth the hype. He's going to get to do it on a national stage. So, and the hard part is, though, he's stepping in now, and he's taking control of the defending national championship team. So there's a lot of pressure on him. A lot of pressure. You know, Will Howard was an experienced quarterback coming in. There's another facet of this game that's not as exciting as these other things that I just mentioned here over the past couple of minutes. While winning is important for numerous reasons, and I laid them all out, losing a huge game like this at the beginning of the season, it's not as harmful as it used to be. All right. I'm pretty certain that I could sit here right now with you, and you would agree with me as we sit here at the end of June. I think we agree that both of these teams will be in the playoffs. I mean, something catastrophic would have to happen for them to not be in the playoffs, right? As part of the 12-team playoff field. So a loss one way or the other for any team is not going to hold them back from making the playoffs. At most, it may affect seeding when, a committee gets together and says, well, this team beat that team, so we got to seed them a little higher if their records are similar, all that head-to-head play. You know the arguments. We hear them every single year. That's about it. Who's going to get the better draw? So a game like this is great for college football, and the loser still has their entire conference schedule ahead of them, which means that win or lose, both teams have every one of their season goals in front of them moving forward. So nothing is diminished, like in the olden days of college football when we had just 2 teams in the playoffs and you lost one. That was it. You were probably working uphill the rest of the way. There's also another note on this football game. Of course, it is at noon kickoff on Fox. And look, this game needs to be in prime time, and more people will watch it that way too. I know Fox big noon kickoff has their thing, and Ohio State fans always seem to get robbed of these primetime home slots because of their popularity. They get grabbed and put in the noon slot on Fox. And overall, it's a good thing. But every once in a while, I think Ohio State would like to have a primetime, nighttime game where everybody's all fueled up and ready to go, and the excitement of under the lights and national TV. And, I don't begrudge them for wanting that. Ohio State actually tried to move this game to a night game. And if we couldn't do it on Saturday night, they said, well, let's do a standalone game Sunday night. That's the weekend where there's the pause between, college football starting and the NFL preseason is over, but they're not ready for the regular season. So we always have, a Sunday night, Monday night game. And they wouldn't budge. Texas wouldn't budge. And they felt like it would give Ohio State more of a home field advantage under the lights. And they didn't want to lose a day prepping for week 2 against San Jose State. Give me a break. You don't need 7 days to prepare for San Jose State. You'll be fine with 6. But they want to budge. So that's Texas's fault on this one. I don't believe Texas for 1 minute on that. But I do believe that this game sets the tone for the rest of the college football season and a launching pad of a multitude of discussions to talk about including you and your comments. Hit me up. Let's get some comments going on this game. This 2 months is going to fly by. We're going to be right into this game before you know it. I mean, Big Ten Media Days are, 3-4 weeks away. Practice is going to be starting, and then we're going to be hyping up this game. Let's start it now. What else we got to do? It's like the 4th of July week coming up. Many of you are off anyway. So get the comments going on YouTube. Would love to hear from you on this. A little trash talking between Texas and SEC fans and Big Ten Ohio State fans. Would love to hear it right here. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you're new to us so you never miss an episode, and share, follow, like Locked On Big Ten. We're making a push to 20,000 subscribers. We're over 19,000 right now. Trying to get to 20,000 before the start of the season. I think we're going to do it. And also check out our website, talkbig10.com. If you're on video, you see the crawl there. All of our podcasts go there. Plus, there are links for you to buy merchandise from your favorite team, like Ohio State, for example, shirts, T-shirts, and hats. Get your school spirit up for the 2025 season. We have a lot to do. We always have a lot to do. We jam so much into these podcasts. It's what makes them so much fun. Urban Meyer has some thoughts on Julian Sayin. We'll share that. Paul Finebaum has some thoughts on Nebraska, and you're not going to believe this. They're good thoughts. He's a Big Ten hater, folks. We'll talk some recruiting with the Ducks, Michigan, Indiana, and we'll take a peek at the Big Ten players in the NBA draft. Lots going on here, right here on Locked On Big Ten. Game time. You ever decided at the last minute you want to go to a game? You want to go to a baseball game here this summer at the last minute? Game time. Game time, game time. Get your tickets with the Game Time app. Even if it's like game day, maybe it's right before the game. It doesn't matter. Game Time makes it easier. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without stress. And with the money that you save on the tickets, you can splurge on the food, the drinks, the merch, the parking, all that stuff. Invite more friends with you. Game Time makes it all possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. You know, the prices actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. Incredible last-minute deals. Clear seat views. In fact, that's one of the things I like about it. You can see the view from the seat of the ticket you're about to buy right there on your phone. They've got the best pricing, everything right there at your fingertips. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and the redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen every day, especially you everydayers out there. Meanwhile, hit that free subscribe button down below. Share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And check out our website, talkbig10.com, for podcasts and school merchandise. So we're talking about the Buckeyes, and we'll go ahead and talk about them some more here with Urban Meyer. He was on his recent podcast, and he had some thoughts on Ohio State's presumptive starting quarterback, Julian Sayin, who we were just talking about. He said he didn't have any insight. I don't think he wanted to step on Ryan Day's toes at all by suggesting that Julian Sayin would be the starting quarterback, even though we all know he'll be the starting quarterback. He says, look, I'm not on the staff anymore. I don't have any insight, but that's fine. He's just being polite. But he does think that Sayin is a little small in stature, but he says he sees the field well. He says the ball just dances out of his hand, and that he should be helped with all the weapons that they have there, including Jeremiah Smith, Cardell Tate, Sean Lodgim, Brandon Innes, Mylan Graham, Jupe Mitchell. He rattled them all off. They're all going to be there helping him out. Also, before we jump into recruiting, Big Ten hater Paul Finebaum actually had some nice things to say about Nebraska head coach Matt Rule. Yeah, I was stunned too. The Huskers, you know, in their history, they have 5 titles and a glorious history, and they're unfortunately on their 6th coach since Tom Osborne retired back in 1997. Not a lot of success in the last quarter century. But Finey thinks that Rule is the right guy to lead the Huskers back to prominence. Now, we're going to redefine prominence a little bit. Finey is quick to point out, you know, he doesn't think he'll get Rule will get Nebraska to like the glory days where they're just rattling off national championships. He says that would be impossible. But he does think that Rule is the right guy over there. And he noted that, they've been trending upward the last couple of seasons under Rule, which they have. He did note that the Huskers' upward trend would be even greater if not for some close losses. All right, let me stop right there because maybe this is where Finebaum isn't as dialed in on the Huskers, because Nebraska fans and Locked On Big Ten fans, we know that that's actually the problem. The close losses. That dates back to Scott Frost. That's what they got to eliminate. So, yeah, they've lost numerous one-score games. Having said that, though, I'm excited. You're excited. Locked On Big Ten is excited about the Huskers' chances with Dylan Raiola heading into year 2. I think it's gonna be a good year for them, no question. All right, let's get into recruiting a little bit, a lot. Let's start with the Oregon Ducks. They finally got a 2026 quarterback. I say finally because this has been a problem. They've been deep in after a lot of different guys, and they've been like the final two finalists, and these guys have been announcing elsewhere. So they're starting to scramble a little bit for a quarterback in this class. A lot of high-profile recruits that just slipped away at the last second. So 3-star Bryson Beaver, 6'3" recruit from Marietta, California. And he flipped from Boise State. He had committed there in April, but then a lot of programs all of a sudden got interested in this guy late. And things are starting to flesh out elsewhere. And he happened to do well at a quarterback passing camp in mid-June. All of a sudden, a lot of people were interested. And all of a sudden, he's going, I think I can do better. I mean, Alabama, Ole Miss, Auburn, LSU, Oregon, all interested in him. He threw for 3,200 yards and 33 touchdowns last year, and he's coming to Oregon. And he's going to ride with a 5-star tight end and Kendra Harrison and a wide receiver, Messiah Hampton. Got some weapons coming in, so I'm sure he's pretty excited. The Ducks, here's the little peek behind the curtain what's been going on with their quarterback situation for the class of 2026. They had 4-star Jonas Williams committed like last August, a year ago. But then he flipped to USC in February. And then they were neck and neck with Jared Curtis. He chose Georgia. Then last Tuesday, the Ducks lost out on 4-star Ryder Lyon. He picked BYU. Then there was Matt Ponatoski. Now, we won't see him. He's going in the Major League Baseball draft. He's getting drafted, so he's not going to be available. So I think they finally got things quieted down and settled down the quarterback spot for the future with the Oregon Ducks. Michigan, we always keep you updated on all these 4 and 5 stars they're going after. 4-star wide receiver Zion Robinson, who we've talked about numerous times on this podcast, he is coming from Mansfield, Texas. He picked the Wolverines, and that was over Miami and Nebraska, Texas Tech, and Stanford. But I think we expected him to pick Michigan. We are still keeping an eye on 5-star wide receiver Calvin Russell, who originally was thought to be heading out west or down south, but he had a really nice visit with Ann Arbor, and all went great. And many think that the Wolverines are the front runners here. He's going to announce on July 5th. That'd be nice to get the 5-star. And Michigan continues to go big game hunting. We're all awaiting, the whole nation is awaiting the decision of 5-star running back Savion Hyder from Virginia. His recruitment is heated. It's a big battle. Michigan, Ohio State, Tennessee, they're all in. He's the best running back out there, and he's expected to earn over $1 million his freshman season wherever he goes with player compensation. Oh, and the Wolverines also got 3-star offensive lineman Marky Walbridge, a 6'6", 280-pound player who chose the Wolverines over Penn State and Alabama. So he's from also, Boston College was in the mix. Now he's from Needham, Massachusetts. So the local home school was in the mix for a while, but he's coming to Michigan. And as we reported earlier this week, we reported on some likely bad news for Indiana. It came true. 4-star defensive back Jay Timmons has flipped from Indiana to Florida State. He committed to IU in April. He just visited Tallahassee. His dad's a former Steeler, right? Lawrence Timmons. he also played at Florida State. And so they got interested. He went and visited. It's his old man's school, and he's going there. And so Indiana lost him. In fact, that started to look a bit inevitable a few days ago. And because of the loss, Indiana's class of 26 dropped 3 spaces in the national rankings to 30th after the bad news. And IU only has one corner in its class of 2026. It's a local kid, a 3-star from Indianapolis, Casimir Hicks. So let's switch to basketball real quick. Duke basketball player Cooper Flagg got all the attention on the first night of the NBA draft, going number 1 to the Mavericks. Rutgers made some history. I don't know that you want to make. They became the first team ever to have 2 top 5 picks in the NBA draft from a school that did not make the NCAA tournament. Dylan Harper went second to San Antonio. Now he's going to pass the ball to Victor Wembanyama. And Ace Bailey went 5th to the Utah Jazz, and a complete surprise to him. He's surprised they picked him. Now, Bailey got a lot of negative attention for his, shall we say, unorthodox approach to the draft. He was turning down meetings with teams that were interested in drafting him, most notably the 76ers this past week. It was weird. Some thought he might go top 3. He fell a couple to 5. So, very interesting story there. Maryland's Derek Queen, who will forever be remembered for his game-winning buzzer beater against Colorado State to get Maryland to the Sweet 16. He went 13th, ended up with the Pelicans with the trade. Illinois guard Kasparis Giacchionis went 20th to the Heat. His backcourt mate at Illinois, Will Riley, went next. He'll play for the Wizards. Michigan State's Jace Richardson, he goes 25th. To Orlando. I think it's a good spot for him. Going to Orlando, that's an up-and-coming team. And Michigan's Danny Wolf was the 27th pick, and he was one of Brooklyn's record 5 first-round picks. I still don't know how you have 5 picks in the first round of a draft, but they accumulated 5 picks over the years in trades and picked 3 point guards with the 5. This is not locked on NBA. They'll listen to those guys for that. Oh, finally, Penn State. Their big man, Yannick Conan Niedenhauser, he closed out the first round by going to the Clippers. So there you have it. A lot of Big Ten representation throughout the first round of the NBA draft. As long as we're talking about the NBA draft, the kids coming out of college, we do picks or odds or something like that each and every Friday. Don't really have any games to pick, but we can look ahead to the odds. And since the NBA draft just took place, let's look back at college, see how many Big Ten teams, what the odds are of them winning a national championship. I'm going to tell you right now, Vegas has the best odds for a Big Ten team, even though the Big Ten hasn't won a national championship in a quarter century. I'll tell you who that is. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Big Ten. Today's episode is brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build, in practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the all-stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver all the things that we need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts to help make every day easier. Seeing your whole supply chain is easier. Managing logistics is easier. Responding to price changes is easier. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global vision, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. Because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hard-working minute. Easier doesn't cut corners. Easier takes the lead. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That's www.easierwithepicor.com. All right, at the end of our program, each and every day, we always do features, top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend, Tuesday tweets, Wednesday power rankings, Thursdays, we take a look at Big Ten classics and live action. Fridays, we do picks, pigskin picks, basketball picks. If there aren't any games to pick, we always like to find some kind of interesting futures odds to look at. So I'm going to put this on screen. It's a lot here, and we can take a look at this. These are the odds provided by FanDuel. for the NCAA men's basketball championship for 2026. And look who has the best odds right there. Purdue, along with Houston. Calvin Sampson's always in the mix. Plus 1,000 for both of them. Matt Painter, steady as he goes there at Purdue. Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, both coming back. They have as good of a chance as anybody, and Vegas thinks so as well. Duke has the third best. Duke just had their entire team drafted. Cooper Flagg was the only one that went. They got 3 Duke players in the first round, a couple more in the second. So plus 1,300 for Duke. Kansas, Bill Self is always in the mix. Plus 1,600, and Florida rounds out the top 5 at plus 1,700, as is Kentucky. Michigan in there. Depending on, you can put them top 5. I have them listed, 7th, but they're the same odds as Florida, the defending national champions, and Kentucky. Dusty May is really got a lot of momentum going right now. St. John's also plus 1,700 with Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino does not even recruit high school kids anymore. He just hits the transfer portal and gets older, experienced players. Doesn't even visit high school families. Doesn't do it. Connecticut sitting at plus 1,700, and Louisville at plus 2,000 to round out the top 10. So I kind of cut it off there at the top 10, and then I just grabbed only Big Ten team odds moving forward. So UCLA sitting at plus 3,500 along with Illinois. UCLA's Mick Cronin, just a tough defensive-minded coach. And then Illinois, who we mentioned just lost their backcourt to the NBA draft. Brad Underwood's got a new contract, by the way. He just keeps it going. Brad Underwood and Brett Bielema, a couple of guys that just keep grinding it, and they're always steady, no drop-offs. Michigan State is at plus 4,000 to win the national championship with Tom Izzo, 70 years old now? Did the interim stint as the athletic director. I don't know. I have no idea how much longer Izzo's going to go. But he was the last Big Ten coach to win a national championship back in 2000. Been a long, long time. Iowa's in there at plus 6,000. New coach, Ben McCollum, taking over for Fran McCaffrey. And here are the rest of the Big Ten teams. Wisconsin and Indiana and USC all at plus 6,000. Wisconsin going to miss scorer John Tonje, gone off to the NBA. Indiana's Darian DeVries, brand new coach, in for Mike Woodson. A completely new team. 100% of the roster, brand new. I'm an Indiana grad. I don't even know what to expect this year, to be honest. Ohio State coming in at plus 8,000. Oregon at plus 8,000 as well. And Maryland at plus 10,000. Buzz Williams, brand new coach. They got to the Sweet 16 last year, and then Kevin Willard said, I don't like it here at Maryland, and went to Nova. Buzz Williams coming in there. Washington at plus 15,000. We've got Nebraska and Minnesota at plus 20,000. Nico Medved taking over Minnesota in his first year. Got a lot of new first-year head coaches in the Big Ten this year. Chris Collins is at Northwestern still. I think he's a good coach. I just wonder how long he's going to stay there, because I don't know what the ceiling is there, but he's a really good coach. Northwestern at plus 30,000, as is Penn State and Rutgers. Both Penn State and Rutgers losing talent to the NBA. Well, Rutgers is plus 50,000, not 30,000. Losing Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. So those are your odds of Big Ten teams making it all the way to the NCAA men's basketball championship for 2026, just for fun. So there you have it. That's what we do on Fridays. Always fun, as a matter of fact. Thanks for checking us out today. Don't forget, if you could hit that subscribe button before you go, that would be great. Get us closer to 20,000 subscribers before the start of football season. Plus, if you subscribe and it's free, you never miss an episode. Feel free to go back and watch another episode for a second listen. Get caught up on what we did this week. We featured Oregon. Yesterday we featured Jeremiah Smith and his 99 rating on EA Sports. Go back and check that out. Talk just a lot about him, hyping him up for the upcoming season if you're a Buckeyes fan. But yeah, feel free to go back and check that out. Or for a second listen, watch the Portal Show with Brian Smith. All things transfer portal right there. Good. It's a good watch. Find them on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. That will do it for us. Have yourself a wonderful weekend as we start winding down here the month of June. Tell your friends about us that we're out here every single day. Go, hey, You want to do something this weekend? Check out this Big Ten guy. He's there every day. If you're a Big Ten fan, I know you know other Big Ten fans. Go ahead and spread the word of mouth. We're here every day, all 18 teams, news, analysis, opinion, all under one umbrella. That'll do it. I'm Craig Sheeman. Can't wait to talk to you again next time here on Locked On Big Ten.